Thank you for your time.
Good evening, everybody.
Dr. Rao, you are there?
Yeah, Ramesh, thank you. Uh, yeah, evening for me, morning for you. Uh, this is something I've been doing for the last few weeks with our friends. In the morning, we have a WhatsApp group where I kind of established that because I came up with this 30 list and I was writing a book on that. So I thought I will discuss one with our friends. So every day morning we have been meeting and we have been discussing these actual problems that modern entrepreneurs were experiencing. Actually, this is not new to me. I have been at this for a very, very long time. And so I kind of recollected what are the things that I was dealing with, and I was counseling people, or I'm working with myself because I have been an entrepreneur ever since I came into United States, right? I never worked for anybody in the sense of employment and all that. I had some uh, 3 months, 6 months contracts where I can go, but I always had my practice with me. So I was always an entrepreneur. I had to fund it. I have to really take loans and do the payroll and everything. But that was very happy and uh, really went well for me, you know. But it actually, this entrepreneurship was put into me by the story of my father. I did not know my father. He died when I was 1.5 years old or something. But he was a very well-known engineer of the cement in India. So he worked on the north and south also. But his story started with a small village, Kesanpalli in Andhra Pradesh, near Nasrapet, and then his father was a sweet merchant, so he was not a literate person or anything, but my father was very good in his mathematics and all that. So he scored 100 out of 100. You know, that was my inspiration. But the story was he just finished his SSLC and then took off to Bombay. And then once he was there, he asked his father to send some ghee so that he can sell it for premium. And then with that money, he taught himself and he joined night college and all that. He became an engineer, right? So that was very difficult. And 20s, 30s, take off from the village and go to Bombay and then be on his own. That was quite inspiring for us. So we always had that seed that we could work ourselves, we could make ourselves. You know, that worked very well for me. You know, and later on when I came here, I really didn't want to be employed by anybody, but I wanted to run my own business and all that. So it took some time. But then when I established the practice, we went through all these problems: the burnout, the exhaustion, the information overload, all those things that went through. Now, there are 30 here, and this is not going to be just a book. It's going to be a lot of retreats, a lot of gatherings, and I'm going to gather many of the doctors, many of the business people I know, and they have been asking me for consultation every day about something or other: administrative problem, financial problem, relationship problem, productivity problem, loneliness in leadership, so many things, right? So I just went through what are the consulting me about, and then all these problems came through, and I happened to come to you guys. Your majority of them are entrepreneurs, and I also see several of the ladies also very good entrepreneurs. So I just want to be a pal, like our be a pal company, right? I just want to be helpful. These are the things that worked for me, and these are the things that when I pointed out, if people really agreed and then implemented. It's not just agreeing, is it's not no big deal to agree with me. It is the truth of the ancients, right? So sometimes it's very hard to even to understand, and sometimes it's very hard to implement too. So I understand that we were careful with them and we were very patient to them. When I talked to Ramesh wanted certain points where we can talk. So I picked up four. Everybody is going through burnout and exhaustion. That's one thing I told him I will talk about. Financial instability. Everybody is going through that. And my own personal philosophy, how I learned from it and how I implemented it. It is not that we didn't have money, we had money, but the money also did not result in greed factor, that kind of thing. And also uh, family work balance, that was one thing I was going to talk about, and also procrastination. So I'll list out the 30, and then if you want me to talk about anything in particular, you could do that. This book is going to be more like a reference. Suppose you are dealing with the information overload, too much stuff is coming into you. Like a doctor, they always come to me, the EMR is giving too much. I'm documenting. I don't have time with my patients. I can't really do any other thing. That's a very common complaint now. That's something I'll be pointing out. And also, a lot of people have this fatigue, and then they can't make a decision. They don't have any decision. They don't know which way to go. Productivity inconsistent, like that. The number one was burnout or exhaustion, and for that solutions were pranayama and yoga nidra. They work very well to rejuvenate system, and just obviously yoga and pranayama we talk about, we teach, I do every day too. The second problem I listed there was information overload. For that, sense withdrawal, pratyahara. And the third is decision fatigue. Okay, so it's more like a uh, focus on action, not on results. That's what I tell them all the time, which reduce stress by focusing on the process, not the outcome. But in America, it's all about winning, making money, make all those things. So people are caught in that. And then inconsistent productivity, that's a big deal. So we have a daily routine, a dinacharya, that is a structured routine that is allowing the body and mind for peak performance. So enhancement of the human being is why my course and my lessons and all that regarding that, where your body functions optimally because you are taking care of it, and your mind is focused, one pointed as laser focus. It can be strained. That's my point. Then, of course, financial instability. We talked about balanced wealth pursuit, especially if you earn and spend in alignment with higher values, avoiding greed, you will overcome a lot of instability. Or even if you don't make much with what you have, that is more sensible. That used to be our value as a middle class when I was growing up. Um, whether later on money comes, so people tend to get into the greed of accumulating a lot of money. So somehow I was not involved in that, so that saved me probably. Of course, a lot of leaders, they feel very lonely. They don't know. They have to make decisions on their own. A lot of money is involved. A lot of people are involved. Like my medical practice, usually it runs in several millions. So people are very, very, very difficult to make decisions on their own because family may blame them that you lost all the money, or a lot of people loaned you, or all that, how it runs here. And then the seventh one is difficulty in delegation. A lot of people don't know how to delegate. They take on everything, and then they kind of exhausted, right? So we talk about that. So nishkama karma, selfless action, that is the one where you say, I'm going to trust others, let go of the control, and delegate with the detachment. That is the solution. And then eighth one is fear of failure. Vedantic non-attachment is the main thing. When you have this self is beyond failure. So you are your body and mind, not you. You are beyond that, and that is those experiences. Then you take it as lessons in the journey. You know, of course, ninth one is poor work-life balance. See, Grahastha Dharma, household duty is harmonizing work and personal life as sacred duties. Many people come to me with this, my doctor friends. Basically, they have a lot of problem with the marriage. Some are on the verge of divorce because They are going and working like anything in the hospital, but the family doesn't appreciate that, and then they will have problems, and then they want to leave each other, that kind of thing. So I always tell them, you got to work and you got to take care of the family. You have to take care of your personal life yourself. And if you take both of them, not like obligations, but more like a sacred duties. Your body is a temple for your atma, and then you have to take care of all the people who are dependent on you. One thing worked for me is communication. Let the family know where you are, what you are doing, what you are intending doing, what your mission in life, and then they can really come and really help you to achieve that. That communication gap and also egotistical attitudes I see a lot, always fighting for something like a self-image. Well, I am so and so, I have so many roles and all that. Usually it works very well when you show them you are not your ego, you are not your mind, you are not your body. And once they sink it in, once they go like that, they will see much better the women rather than divorcing them and all that. So I've seen that. I'm still seeing that. Even now I'm seeing people who have poor work-life balance because they are either that or this, but not like thinking both of them is secret duties. Number 10 is lack of mental clarity. Okay, so the ancient thing was meditation, dhyana, not only a still mind, slowed mind, one thought, stay with one thought and go beyond that into the silence and stay there. And this is really, no money can give you that sukh or welfare of mind. So it's a kind of a very important thing we should practice in the busy life. So I tell people, take 1 minute every hour and slow down and come back to the presence that you are doing. And then the thought becomes your conscious tool, not running by itself. But if you allow it to be unconscious, it can do. So those are the 10. I'll stop there. I don't want to bore you with all the 30. But the whole thing is, how can you be creating something as an entrepreneur with vision, with probably the vision is for the welfare of the society or, the whole world, whatever that you have, you usually take risks for that. You put your reputation, your money, your energy, your family, everything, and then you go work. But then you sacrifice your health and wellness. That's what I'm seeing a lot. But when I touched the ancient wisdom, they talked about first being present, first being energetic within yourself, and really knowing who you are. And from that energy, you manage your body and mind. So I don't want to take everything and go deep into that. But if you want to ask me anything that you want me to tell about, then I will explain that. Ramesh?
Yes, go ahead, doctor.
Yeah. I was wondering, is that a right approach rather than me giving complete
Yeah,
lecture
yeah,
about
that's
it?
fine. That's fine.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Let
That's
people
fine.
ask.
Please, please,
Yeah.
please go ahead. Yeah.
Let people ask the any individual questions. Like Raghava, anybody?
I was thinking, like, if you can complete all the 30 entrepreneurial challenges, it will be wonderful, Dr. Rao. Because
Okay.
I'm
Fine.
very keen on listening to all these things. I never get bored.
Fine.
And there are a couple of people, they always follow you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, no, the book is written in a way that's not going to be too big. It's not going to be reading book. It's more like a reference book. So you go something, you'll see what are the couple of things. How do you do that? So, for example, pranayama and yoga nidra. A brief description of how it is done, and also a video will be attached to that. That way, it is easier for the person who is saying, not only our Indians and American friends, also everybody here too. And there are some workbook questions that you can write down, and then you can test yourself. It's not for somebody else, it's for yourself. And also there are some mantras I'm incorporated that have pretty significant meaning for the problem, not repeating just like that, but it has a meaning there. That is also explained there. And how do you use the ancient wisdom? That's why I to give it to them in their hand that they could use. So somebody has this I don't cannot delegate. Okay, and then I'm talking about nishkam karma and trusting others, letting go of control, and delegating with detachment that will be there. So the composition of book is taking real long because it has pictures, it has all sorts of things. I'm going to I'll release the book pretty soon, but first I had to complete the 30. I did just last week. I completed all the 30 problems with the group every day, and now I'm ready to do that. One of the things why I did was there were some issues came up when I was talking with this group. So like that, I'm going to take the book and do some 1 day, 2 day, or 5 day retreats, which I have done with other problems before. The 1 day is very simple, or a weekend, and or the whole week. That kind of are planned, and of course there are a lot of speeches, a lot of webinars, and all those will be done too. So it is going to be something not to philosophize something, not to really relish in um, just the wisdom, but how can I listen to it carefully? How can I think about it? It's not Veda just because Dr. Rao said so. Dr. Rao is also on the path of seeking things, right? So he presented his viewpoint. You have to listen and then do what's called manana. Think about it, doubt it, question it. And not me, but the people who have come up with that wisdom and also will tell you the same thing. And then, if you really see the truth, make it happen in your life. That is where most people seem to be having problem. They when they listen, they say, "Oh, this is very nice," but then when life comes, they cannot handle it. They cannot handle, they don't know what to do. That's when I kind of stay with them and then let them discover their own internal strength, inner reality. And once they are in the reality, they can watch the mind activities. They can watch what's going on in the body, much more aware. So they don't let diseases brew up, or worries, anxieties, depressions kind of grow, because they may be doing some work, they may be making some money, but they don't know how to look at that. That is the wellness point of view I'm bringing it to. Okay, I will continue. The 11 is managing competition. How do we manage? See, uh, Gnana Yoga, the path of wisdom, it tells you compete with yourself, not others, and also strive for the excellence, mastery. So that's where you don't see a competition. What you see is what is the excellence level I can raise to, or I can see somebody has done that, then I can really understand how they have done or learn from that. That's where you don't have others to compete about, only your excellence. Okay. Ethical dilemmas is the 12th one. Whenever these people come here, especially hospital, when we have to determine whether somebody's life has to be saved or has to be put out, that's a major ethical dilemma, right? Um, Family may be looking to us to tell us whether we can save the patient or let it go. Sometimes they are so emotionally attached they cannot make the decision. So we doctors, two doctors, have to gather together and make decisions. Usually they come to me because I don't take a judgmental attitude. I take a righteous action, dharma, what is good for everybody, not according to my little knowledge or my little mind, what I know. It doesn't matter. What is that right action that affects all the life? From that perspective, you come, there is no partiality, no political, nothing, right? So always act in the alignment of the righteousness, even in business. Once you do that, not according to the ego, but according to what is right in anything. That is very important job for me. In any hospital, when I go, they call me on that, and they are very tough situations sometimes. Okay, but relying not on my individual intelligence or knowledge or whatever we have attributes, but really understanding what does the dharma say now. Usually, you have the right answers. It is difficult sometimes, but it is the right answer. And then the 13 is anxiety about the future, especially now with all the things going on in the United States. A lot of people are really anxious about it. Right after the elections, this was the major concern I had. Many people had real concern about the future, and now so many things are happening. They are really, this is the point. What does our ancient wisdom say? Their stoicism and Vedantic acceptance, they come to us very, very valid, because you can have natural events, or you can have political events, you can have so many things can happen, right? But the future is always uncertain. What do? You act in the present moment fully. Whatever you can do fully, you do that. That's what I preach myself, my family, or my attention to every action. That is the mantra I have: attention to every action. And then 14th is lack of focus. How many people don't have this one pointed focus? But this is possible, though. This is something we can train the mind to stay undistracted through. So many practice out there. You can take the deep breath and calm down. You can do some mantra of your favorite, and then dhyayate manana mantra. Whatever you do continuously, that becomes mantra. It doesn't have to be a Sanskrit word. It could be one. It could be Jesus. Whatever. They stay my mind only one pointed focus, ekagrata. That is very needed now with the information overload. My branch, right? I'm an informatician, so I know the science of information, how that becomes insight, how that becomes our wisdom and all that. But don't retain unnecessary. What is happening is so much data is coming. We are taking the data into our brain. No, what does the data give you insight? What is that otherwise you have to eliminate the data daily. I tell the people, vacate your mind before you go to bed. Okay, that is the lack of focus. By the way, I want to do a flow class because I can teach you how to develop yourself into the flow, especially older people, then you can do a lot of work in no time, and also you will come out without really spent. That means energy that is really consumed when you are in a flow state is very minimal. And on the top of it, you get the feedback of doing something very, very well. And that feedback also helps you a lot. Okay. Anyway, we'll talk about it later on that. So, and then 15th is over dependence on technology. I'm a technologist. I've just written an article last weekend about the AI. I do this because I want to understand how this technology is going to influence the mind, human mind. Okay, so for those people who are really not able to get this out of their IT people, will come to me because they are constantly thinking, and also this technology, they cannot put the phone down, they cannot put the laptop down, none of it. So I have two things for forest bathing and nature therapy. Connect with the nature to reset the mind and create. The other day, one of my friends called me and she said, I need to talk to you because I can't function like this. My mind is going all over and I'm helping these women. But then they ask me a question. I can't tell anybody if something going on in my mind. I'm mentally upset. Then I told her, get out and go to the nature, and then just allow the stimuli or sensory, auricular, or whatever you see, whatever you hear, let it be completely listen to. Allow the senses completely absorb that and then withdraw from it. So that kind of first go and just shut up and listen. That is very difficult for people because they are allowing the mind to go mechanically continuously running. So for me, whatever technology I learned, it's a tool. That's it. I can throw it away and go very easily. So it can be taught. Then employee retention issues. That was a problem for me because my clinic trains young girls and then makes them nurses and all that. Then the hospital steals them away because they give much more money than the clinic can afford to give. So we had to hire people constantly and make them. So they used to stay with me because I was also thinking of their future all the time. So their training was there all the time. I didn't mind. I like, yeah, I talk all the time. So I can train people all the time. I love it. So there's no big deal. That's why they used to stay with me, because of personal loyalty and also what they were getting here. Then 70 is self-doubt. See, a lot of people have this doubt. But who is that is doubting? Is that you or your mind and your thinking, your emotions, and all that? Your inner self is not really doubting itself. Once you establish there, then you can see the thoughts as objects, and then you can determine that. So ask this question: Who am I? That's a big question, but it's the Atma Vichara. That's the who is doubting whom? That's the question. So then the self doubt will cease, because you can see it separated from that. Then 18 is fear of public speaking. Very common, right? So having chanting, having visualization, this really boosts confidence and then clears the speech blocks, because they learn to focus the energy onto something that they can emotionally feel and focus on that. And also, just listening to the Sanskrit chants has got this real vibrationally effect, and then people really feel good too. 90 days, poor customer relations, very common, right? In the clinic, one patient really becomes unhappy and goes away, the seven patients will go away. That is the equation we have about patients going away. So we are very, very hospitable, and also really paying attention to every need of the patient. The moment they come in, and we pay attention to them, we take their first name, look in their eyes, smile, and all that. I personally trained my girls, all the nurses that are working with me, because I want them to have the same hospitality that they will get from me in the room. So they always come for me, but then if they see the same in my staff, and the staff also, they got an added benefit because of that. They were treating people like that because they were thinking about their needs, the patient's needs. The patients loved my nurses, and nurses got a lot of affection, lot of friendliness from the patients. So they liked the job because they were not doing mechanically, they were really dealing with it. This is very rare in America, because everything is business, everything like a routinely done. But then I infuse the heartfelt thing in my practice, because I'm like that with my patients. They are like a extended family members. That was very good for us. And then 20th is, people may borrowing somebody's innovation, but they don't really put into innovation. Struggles with innovation. Even Raghava, this OBN is there. He had to invent. He has to continuously improve what's going on. Otherwise, it becomes mechanical and it doesn't grow. So you have to put in your own creation. Maybe you have seen some idea somewhere, or you are thinking about yourself. What do I have to be known by? I'm going to be nurturing these entrepreneurs. Then that will be the innovation part of it. So for that, vipassana, deep observation. True innovation arises from observing reality as it is, with the sankalpa, with the perception. Krishnamurti talked about this. If you think with the data, with the experiences, with all that you have, then you are not paying attention to what is happening now. Perception is dealing with what it is without getting the data or historical thing. And then reality reveals a lot of things. Because he said, what is sacred. What is sacred. Okay, not what we built a image or visual or conclusion or judgment. No. Okay. That's a very big deal. That difficulty in scaling business. This is something people really worry about. There's a law of yagna. We give the ghee into the fire and say swaha. That is give first tyaga and then receive later. So give first and then receive later. That becomes really good. So you give value, to a room, and then they respond back by giving a lot of attention, lot of affection, lot of friendship, and all that, right? So you don't give just the intention of receiving later. You give value, and then the scaling will go away, will go up. I used to have this advertisement done by the clinic in the TV and other things. They encouraged me, and we were spending thousands every month, but all my patients are coming because of the word of mouth. Then I stopped. So many years I did not even advertise. And I got my patients from my patients all the time. So I told them, good medicine, good business. That is used to be our saying. And then take care of the people like people. Give them excellent care. And then we are going to bring in all the new knowledge and give it to them. So give first and receive later. Then 22nd is very common, overwork and lack of sleep. Okay, so pre-dawn awakening, rising early naturally, that aligns the energy and improves your sleep. Many of the people are morning people, but this sleep thing is personally for me also as a doctor was very important. So I learned how to sleep short hours but pretty deep. See, even physiologically, as a doctor, if I speak it, the need of the sleep is to restore the body and the mind to get rid of all the toxins. Ama in Ayurveda they call it, that accumulates in us with our daily interactions, life, and all that, with the food and everything. The ama in the body really affects the neurological system. So once you have the food properly and digestion process properly and excretion properly, they are the indications that you are very well. If they go out of order, immediately you have to seek help. So your mind also, how attentive it is during the day. That means it's not going with multiple thoughts and then going all over. You are paying attention to every action. Then what happens is at night time, mind doesn't have to strive to have dreams so that it will put everything in order. You will have less dreams, more deeper sleep, and then you. So it's about not just before sleep, but also through the day what you are doing. This is also another skill I think you should learn from me because I'm benefited by. As I told you, I'm 70, but I don't feel like 70. I feel like 30, 40 years old. The energy wise, half my age people cannot keep up with me because of my deep sleep and also during the day how attentive I am. So something happened this morning. I forget that the same time. I don't have that here. So there's a movement to movement awareness. Once you develop that, you do work better. Whatever, if I'm here with you, I'm completely here with you. That kind of thing. So we'll talk about that. Flow is one thing I want to really tell you. What is how do we flow in all the time? Whatever the work is, whether it is good or whether appeals to me, whether I like or not, I can be in flow in the jobs where I don't have much interest. That is cultivable. Good sleep is cultivable. Cultivate them as entrepreneurs, these two, you will be very happy that way. Okay. 23rd is struggling with marketing and branding. We all do that. Okay. So storytelling from the Puranas was used to be the way people were taught. So using compelling, authentic storytelling. Like I told you, my father, how he was a entrepreneur. He took off from the village and went to Bombay and taught himself, and then became a. He became very filthy rich with the chief engineer in cement factories. So if you have that ability to tell the story that are authentic, that are really real from your own life, if it is, that's much better, right? So marketing, we talked about it earlier too, and branding is about really building a story such a way they will be inspiring the other person, and then they can retain the lesson of the story. Okay. Uh, for 24th is what is the poor team collaboration? If uh, nursing doesn't know what the pharmacy is doing, pharmacy doesn't know what the front office is doing, all this can be problems because insurance is not proper from the front office. they cannot bill anybody, so they cannot get any medications for the patient. Okay, and then the nurses may train them how to take it, but if you don't have the medication, how can they take? So like that, within our own yoga, there is a panchakosha model, 5 layers of being, and you got to have team collaboration in all the layers. How your body, how your energy, how your thoughts, how your knowledge, and how your happiness states, all these things have to be coordinated. I think maybe it's a kind of stretching a lot, but then that how you have to work together, and you will be doing other people like that. And the 25th is lack of creativity. Okay, this is something people do not know how to silence their own noise inside. But then, if you have sound meditation, like music, like something from outside the home, for example, if you do that loudly, the reverberation of that sound really makes you calm down the superficial mind. Then the creative urges come from within. Okay, and then lack of creativity. For this, the listening research sounds, because it comes because the superficial really stopped there. 26 is lot of people struggle with decision making. So there is tarka, there is vichara, reasoning and inquiry. Use structured self-inquiry before making major choices. Why I'm having problem with the decision? What is I'm supposed to be achieving? What is supposed to be doing? Is that connected with my inner values, inner belief, inner self? And then things will be very clear, because you're not influenced by propaganda, you're not influenced by some temptations in your mind. All those things will go away. 27, current problem, social media addiction. Okay, so this is 27. The solution for that is upavasa. It's a it's not just not eating. Upavasa really means fasting from distractions. So, okay, I have this digital detox course I teach people, where I tell them, don't pay attention to all emails. Allot half an hour in the afternoon, half an hour in the evening, and then don't. I also don't pay attention to all the emails. I only pay attention to whom I want to. Somebody I want to talk to, if she sends me some email, I'll look at that. Okay, I have my own way of managing that. But basically, we are in control, and not to be tempted by everything that comes around. This is the danger that's going on with the information overload and this market mentality. People want to send everything to us, right? And then resistant to change. That's the 28th. Change is permanent, because change is the only thing that always happens. So, but the impermanence is the reality. So you have a anitya bhavana. Then you won't hang on to your life, you won't hang on to all the things that went on. You will let them go, and that is always accepting the change. Krishnamurti said change is the only permanent thing. And that once you have that anitya bhavana, everything is anitya. Actually, in spiritual quest of the Vedanta, they talk about viveka first. Viveka is the discriminative capacity between what is permanent, what is impermanent. Permanent is that inner self, inner soul, inner energy. These are like a close, both our body and mind. So you don't want to hang on to the body and mind and be addicted about that, but let it go. That is the second quality, vairagya. Once you are discriminated what is permanent, what is impermanent, what is really not real, what is real, then you will develop detachment, which is vairagya, to the impermanent. You have that tendency, then you won't bother about hanging on to the houses, hanging on to the cars, hanging all that. You let them go. And 29th is lack of gratitude. Okay, in the here, devotional surrender. See, gratitude grows when one surrenders to a higher intelligence. In India, I grew up hearing this all the time. Iswarecha. Whatever the difficulty, everything came, to say Iswarecha, and we will see God. Prasada Buddhi. This is the prasada of the divine. Let me take it. And maybe he wants to teach me something through this trouble. So they were able to go through the trouble much better. And the last one is losing the sight of purpose, swadharma, personal duty. If you align your work with a higher purpose other than you, that to maintain fulfillment and drive is much easier. So you say, what is my dharma is something that I do that is going to affect the entire jiva, entire living beings. If I can align myself to the dharma, and also I will feel the swadharma inside. I am supposed to be healing people. My dharma is to allow that I work for the wellness of everybody. Not to make money, not to make my name, not to be praised, no, because they are suffering. The Brahman in the shape of the person who is coming in front of you, you got to treat that Brahman. And once you have expanded your goal like that, natural compassion, natural empathy comes out and say, hey, you are in pain. Let me give you a hand. It could be mental, it could be adjustment to society, number of them. So align your work with the higher inner call, higher purpose. That is the one which is really maintains fulfillment and drive for us. That is 30. Raghav, I'm done with the 30. I'm sorry, I was very brief about everything. Anything we can take, we can talk for days. That's why I wrote the book, because there are so many ways you can take. If you identify, I have this, I don't have, I cannot take change, the changing continuously. This AI comes and it takes off everything. I'm losing a lot of money. Those things are happening actually. So you will really say everything is really anitya. Why am I hanging on to those things? Let them go. Then what happens? You will blend with the new thing that is present to you. When the EMRs came, all our doctors were really, I was very enthusiastic because I thought it will save the lives of so many people, because many of the doctors' handwriting they could not be read because they think fast and they write fast, and it goes like that. Even my writing used to be so good, and I could not read it myself sometimes, so we used to call them pharmacy and make sure they get the correct name and all, or we print that. But then mistakes happened. Some people died around the country, like 800 per year. They were dying because of the medication errors, because of the writing is not discernible by the nurses and pharmacists, right? So that is one thing. Other thing is medical records were not available right away. If you want medical records, you are here in this town, and but you are traveling somewhere to get the medical records takes a lot of time. This way, we can see the data right away. No, that is at the 2008 when they were just coming up. But I was already ahead of a lot of people about this, so I championed EMRs. I kind of worked very hard, but the other doctors did not. They liked me, but they didn't like the change. They don't want to be changed. But then once I got them out of their shell and then taught them what it used to be, I did what is called a preamble for EMR. Before the EMR came, what you have to know, why you have to know, three or four, and they got all the people, and then everybody was kind of uninterested and didn't want to shake their life. But whether they like it or not, the corporations, we are a 11th of 25 hospital chain. 10 hospitals implemented before us. So they're going to do that because the corporation owns all the hospitals. But then also they're doing for a real purpose, and I myself is I'm doing it for the benefit of my patient. All the patients will be benefited too. But we spent so many billions of dollars, it did not result that much because many people did not apply that as much as they should. Whereas I was very happy because I'm doing that very, I went and learned it very tough in the beginning. But once I learned it, my rounds are done by 9:30 in the morning. And all the afternoon I could go back to my patient and the relatives and talk to them. They thought that was great. I'm coming back and talk to them. Usually, each doctor takes over 5 minutes and then they go away, and they won't see the doctor the next day. That used to be the way it was. Now we can be on the screen. We can be you can go and then telemedicine, right? We can go and see. We can see neurologists on here. Microsurgeons can come and do surgery remotely with my patient. All those things are there. So I was very happy with that. Any questions? Anything you want to ask me? Please ask me.
A great set of points, Doctor, and thank you for your compilation of this. I think all of us are looking forward to that book when it's printed. And as you rightly said, each and every point is can be taken up for discussion for probably about 10 hours in a day.
Yeah.
And maybe we'll think about a series on Clubhouse and how to take that, how to discuss, debate each and every point.
Yeah, Ramesh, we are doing that now every day morning. Maybe the time is difficult for you. My morning 7 o'clock, I start with this, and I have been there for 1.5 months. We are doing and continuing that. Anybody interested, they can come. 7:30 means for you probably 5:30 p.m. maybe. Yeah, 5:30 p.m. for you, and you can come and join us and bring your issues and we can talk about it. Because before I was doing one by one all this 30, but now I can personally, anybody has any issues, even now, if you think something that you want to see what the ancient wisdom has to say and how it is to be understood, you can ask me now. It will be useful for everybody. So
great initiative, Doctor. So,
yeah.
room is open for Q&A. Anybody has any questions? Anybody want to add value? Anybody has a feedback to be given? Room is open. You can unmute and speak.
Yeah, Rakesh.
Very good morning, sir. I just was listening to and also have listened to the ancient things you're talking about. In my studies, I just want to understand how the Greek philosophy of Stoicism
Yeah.
has played a big role in individual's life in terms of the character, resilience, and the wisdom in order to navigate their life's challenges with equanimity.
Yeah.
So how the Greek philosophy has used it?
Yeah, the same thing with us too. What is to be ekagrata, right? The stoicism itself, by definition, accepting what has happened and really not forecasting anything, but being here in equanimity. You know, in my morning routine, I talk about equanimous nature of our mind. So if you don't allow everything in the past or everything in the future to come into this moment, then you will be paying attention to what is happening in life now. Okay, it may be having the reason for the past behavior. It may be having some consequence in the future. That's not the consequence. What is happening here and now? See, I mentioned Krishnamurti. What is sacred? Stoicism is where everything is balanced and you are not going into the past and living like sometimes a loss is there in the business. And then you will be going beyond and say, I should not have bought that. I shouldn't have spent all the time with them. I shouldn't have listened to them. Those things in Stoicism don't make any sense. What is happening in life now? Stoic is being really equanimous that way. And our ancient people talked about this. They said there is no mind, only thoughts. When you really know, you build up your own, states or fears or anxieties, and then you build up your own mind, so-called mind. But actually, Manomaya kosha. That's the third kosha they talk about in the five koshas I talk about. Physical is the Annamaya kosha from the food and all that. And energy is the pranamaya kosha, and the manomaya kosha is where you have the thoughts, and intense thoughts are the emotions and all that. They can have stimuli, they can respond to your nervous mechanism, but this inner cultivation of the ego personality is there, which is false. That is where people, oh, I, in my experience, I did all that. Stoicism took everything equanimously, and they were stoic. There is Aurelius. Aurelius, if you get hold of that, Rakesh, read his Meditations. Beautiful book, small book, and very useful for all of us because you can read one thing and you'll get a lot of. Immediately, you will be stoic. See what it is. Rakesh is there. If somebody praises you, you naturally feel good, right? But some people, they fall for it. Even the dopamine loop we're talking about now, you put a post in the social media, and immediately social media posts up, 10 people of our friends come and say, they just say like, and immediately we, oh, 10 people, like, oh, what a good thing this is. But then if some one negative comment comes from somewhere, I say, what is it talking about? You don't know what you're talking about, something like that. Then immediately all that inflated ego bursts. But we do this all the time. And in stoicism, you be stoic. You don't want to go up, go down, stay stoic. That is the essence of stoic. But the more you are in the present, actually, present moment awareness is real life. In this moment, here, I am with you guys and communicating. This is life for me right now. If I have a scheme of, oh, I'm going to influence all these people, get them buy my book, then I'm not being here. But my intention is, how can I improve the entrepreneur's life in a proactive wellness way? Just like I see you, and then you're eating bad food and your sugar and all that, and you come to clinic, I check the blood, and they say, oh, you're diabetic and all that. He may not understand. If I just give some medication, he'll go and take it, but he will not change his behavior. He will eat the same thing, he will walk, probably all that is very difficult for him. But if I sit down and say, this is why they are happening, go to the causes, change them, otherwise, this is what is going to happen with the disease and all that. Like that, entrepreneur, if you can cultivate your mind such a way that is laser focus, if you can cultivate stoical way so that you won't react negatively for events that are happening, but you will be able to not to expend that energy, but use that energy to solve the problem. That way, you are not caught up in the worry cycle, you are not caught up with the anxiety cycle. That is stoicism. Does that help, Rakesh? Did I say correctly?
Yes, it's been the early age when sometimes these things happens. I've gone through this, so the
Mm.
reason I put this word because may not be most people aware of this Stoicism, where the Greek ancient philosophers
Yeah.
used their journey, these things. As you mentioned, there are 30 different journeys are there
Yeah.
in the challenges what they face and the solutions what they can get from the ancient. I would highlight to highlight 2 3 points here. One of the risk management,
Yeah.
which was considered the concept of karma and long-term consequences.
Yeah.
If I talk about the ancient wisdom, and if I talk about the decision making,
Yeah.
the ancient wisdom used like the oracle of Delphi.
Yeah.
So there are these things I have just studied in that my early age of, and how the most important was the time management,
Yeah. Let
and
me
that
say,
was been
let me say about karma, Rakesh, a little bit, because this
yes.
is very well misunderstood. By the way, when I say ancient wisdom, I may quote a lot of Indian ancient, but I know about the Zen, I know about Japanese, a lot of quality management. I know Stoicism, and then Chinese, Tao, that is something. And so Egyptian, so many ancient cultures have the wisdom, mainly because they were natural. They were not technocrats like us. They were very close to the nature, outside and also inside. The inner nature, the inner essence they got. About the karma, some people say everything is defined, so why should we do anything? Let it happen. That is a wrong way to take the karma. Karma is do good, and then you'll really you okay, Christianity also, you reap what you sow, right? But in they went a little deeper on the karma. Prarabdha karma is something that you're now you're kind of putting up with it because of what has happened to you. You know, agama karma is something that is going to come. So you can change your behavior and change what's going to happen tomorrow. Sanchita karma is the one what you did in the past. That is why the result of that is prarabdha karma. So we have Sanchita karma, you can't do anything about it. Prarabdha karma is something that has to happen, that will happen, that has to go through, that will go through. So you kind of resign and surrender to what is happening, even though you have worked very hard. That is prarabdha karma. Ramana Maharshi said, as long as you have prarabdha karma, you will have the physical body and you will have to go through. So just watch it, you know. But if you live today well, if you change your thoughts today, if you understand, if you really bring the wisdom and then live the life with the responsibility, with the real authenticity, then tomorrow agama karma will be there. It's like another way they explained is, it's like part of the karma is like a arrow let go, and the arrow is going and it's going to hit its spot. But agama karma, how you can determine it is, you can have another arrow. This time, your land experience or your wisdom, and you aim the second arrow voluntarily. Then, what is happening there going on, you can break it down. So that's why other way to do that is, you are having a chain around you, but around you there is a fence. You are free in that fence, but beyond that, you got to really you will be horrid because you have a limitation. So many ways they sell, but basically, why do I have to even think about that? Why can't I do what is important here now? See, this escapism, this lack of misunderstanding of what is the real karma is. Vivekananda said very good, good, bad, bad. Whatever you do, you have to pay for it. So he said, rise, not from the physical and body level, even though that is there. Oh, by the way, I was talking to uh, our friend Manini's daughter the other day, and I was inspired after talking to her. What I read with Peter Salinger, famous author in America in 1960s, he talked about, he was familiar with Vivekananda's teaching, and he said, everybody, every youth of America should carry these two books in their pocket. One is Raja Yoga, that is about the focusing the mind, and Karma Yoga, how to perform karma action. Karma means action. How to perform action with a detachment. This was useful in COVID time with my physicians. They were devastated because every day they see people are dying. 1,000 patients in a day in New York City. So they were really overwhelmed by seeing that some of them, they don't even have dear ones here, loved ones near. So they were dying really without knowing anybody, right? So that situation really put people under a lot of strain, right? But this Bhagavad Gita, okay, see, the indweller is always there, but the body and the mind, like the clothes that we wear in the next one, this indweller life will go on. So understand this, then the permanent nature of ours, and actually, among the five kleshas, one klesha is abhinivesha, fear of death. That goes away when you end up with this permanence of our indweller. That's not your thoughts. That's not your mind. That's not your body. This body mind complex is a manifestation out of that inner indweller, inner Atman. That is the one you got to understand. But then you are so enamored by the entire material world, then you will never be having this fulfillment of knowing who you really are. You got to calm your mind to really realize. So that is a validation done by you by going inward, not somebody saying that. Okay, so that's a very important thing to understand karma yoga, because a lot of misunderstanding is there. But basically, whatever you do, if you take responsibility for what we did, and then we can learn and then we can improve next time. But if you bring in, oh, I shouldn't have done that mistake, my ego is hurt, then you are going into the manomaya kosha. By the way, 95% of the people I deal with are stuck in that manomaya kosha all the time. you know so but it's such a relief when you are really understand these layers are around our inner self, the body, the breath, the energy, the thoughts, the feelings, all those things are a koshas, five koshas around our real inner self. And not only realizing, which is already there, not only realizing, but staying in there, sthita pragna, stabilized in that wisdom of knowing our true nature, true essence. Yeah, I'm glad Rakesh you brought in karma. That's very good. Yeah, Arjun, you want to ask something?
Thank you, Dr. Rao sir,
Yeah.
putting more shed light on this. I always been trying to connect the ancient wisdom
Mm.
with our professionalism and the personal life and the business. How
Yeah.
we connect, and when we talk about the risk management,
Mm.
how risk management evolved in
Yeah.
the ancient wisdom, how it was took across.
Yeah.
What is our thought process?
Yeah.
Where we keep our mind inside the challenges, the risk we are going to involve in our business, and
Yeah.
how we are going to use the ancient
See,
techniques and
mind is a
tools for
very
challenge.
powerful asset of ours. But if you turn it against you, it will be the worst enemy. But if you turn it your friend, like I tell in the morning report, another four things they have to do: stretch, breathe, and then keep your mind here. And the fourth one is, if the thoughts come up, do the thoughts as objects, and do that all day. Use the thought and then end the thought too. This is what is needed in the information age, because we get caught up in the mechanical thought. We get caught up in our own visualization of something other than what we really are. That is always there. Krishna said, it's on your nose, in the front of the nose. That means right there. Ramana Maharshi said, the pristine self is so much there. You don't have to read, you don't have to have this knowledge, you don't have to meditate. Don't meditate, just be. Don't think, just be. Don't have knowledge, just be. To be that, he said, alas, there's so many religions, so many creeds and deeds, and all those things, fantastic things going on. Even in India, even now, religious, always worshipping and everything. Those religious activities were shunned by even the Vedas. They are supposed to bring your mind to the energy behind that, and then with that energy coming in there, then identifying there, be that energy, because you are that energy. And that is the gnana part of the Vedas that is neglected. That is the ancient wisdom. They lived themselves, and then when they were living that, they had the highest health and wealth and everything. Now, ancient wisdom, not one particular country, but the ancients of the human beings, we can tap into it now, because we have. See, I never learned all these things that much, but I know about Gandhi a lot. I went too deep into him in India. That kind of shaped me in so many ways. But then when I came here, I was exposed to Ramana Maharshi and Vivekananda also a little bit, but much more so. And now I'm exposed to this Advaita Vedanta monks, and they talk about you're that awareness. Aham
I have a
Brahmasmi.
question.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Arjun.
Sir, I just want to put one point on this point. I was traveling to yesterday with DK Jan sir, and in 20 minutes of traveling,
Mm.
There was a talk of enlightenment of the mind,
Mm.
and very nicely DK sir evolved the thoughtful words. When we were traveling, it was a traffic,
Mm.
and my eyes were going on the watch. Every now and then we are getting late, and so what he said is very simple. However, we try to push hard, we are going to reach on the time which has been decided. So even if the traffic is there or not, if your thoughts are not there and you keep yourself believe, you will reach before time. And if I had a worry, I'll be getting late, you'll be definitely getting late. So this was, the when he talk about these words, it
Mm.
was really entirely me. Why should I worry for that moment? I has to reach. I have I'm sitting on the side
Yeah.
and he's also sitting on the driver's seat. So that was the experience
Yeah.
when we carry a thoughts and we were much worried.
Yeah.
The thing has to happen, it will happen.
That is
But if
the
you don't
that is
take
the
it stress,
present moment awareness I talk about.
yeah. So
Always
thank
be
you,
in the
DK,
present.
sir, for that 30 minutes of enlightenment.
Yeah.
It was not a journey, it was a wonderful day. Actually, you brought into my life, and it was thank you so much.
Yeah. Present moment awareness is the real life, and we are always out of it. That's why being present is something Ramana Maharshi talks about all the time too. Even my kids, I used that. One day they both came. Kids go and work outside, right? And they come for the holidays, and they both came. And then my son told me, "Oh, we had a fight, me and my sister." I mean, okay, "Oh, when did you have fight?" No, no, no. We had fight 3 months ago. Now I'm kind of, really annoyed with her or something like that. Then I said, is that real now or it happened 3 months ago? Why are you harboring it? Even this morning, somebody said something to me. I mean, irked a little bit, but immediately I learned to see that is not going to be continued. It's over. Dump it and go. But if you hang on to it, that is the clinging to the thoughts and making it stronger. This is a serious consequence because if you have a road, highway as formed in the brain by one thought, and allowing it to go unconsciously or consciously, you're going to form the what we call samskaras, vasanas. You can carry them to the next life also. Especially elderly people who are my patients, they recall all sorts of early memories, early things that they don't want to, they are really worried, they cannot get rid of them, so they want to take sleeping pills and all that. But in yoga, they talk about this. That's why object, make the thought object and use it if it is going to be practical and all that, but then learn to stop it. This is the neuroplasticity. You can use it for the better, like I used when I had the stroke. I wanted to get my functions back, and I knew what is to be in the present. I knew what is micro yoga. I knew what's the role of deeper breathing and how to do all that. Many number of people came because I was really doing very well in my practice and all that. I was offered a big job and all that for the informatics, right? I have to run the chief informatics officer and all that. So lot of leadership, everything is there. I went to the interview. Next day I had the stroke. I was selected. I was even put on the schedule and all that. Next day I had stroke, and they flew me to the university in the helicopter. And then within 1 month, I came back to my clinic to see the patients. So all the people who came to me, they were really they were crying for me. And I told them, no, 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 I will get over it and come back. Only thing is, I didn't really put myself into the future. I said, I'm going to do what I can do now. And then there's something came with Brahma Kumaris. I used to see her, Shivani. She said something about, don't ask why me, ask why not me. The Bhagavan is testing you. See, right at this moment that came, and there also,
Shall I proceed with the question, sir?
yeah, sure, Arjun.
Yeah. Yeah, good morning all. I'm Arjun Reddy. I'm a star entrepreneur of OBN. I'm into IT solutions. Dr. Sir, I just asked the relevant to today, today topic, the question. It's a little practical question for you. and I expect the relevant answer also from you. Because now say everything is good, all people will with you, right? With friends, relation, everybody is happy. When you fall down in the business, you got a use for failure or loss, or somebody cheated you, right? In that situation, because I lost most of my clients, they got a suicide also because of the imbalance of the business. They can't able to handle the failures. When the failure happens, number one, relations will run away. Number two, nowadays in the generation, friends also run away. So who is there to support you when you are in a bad situation? When you as an entrepreneur, you got a huge failure in your era. uh, and number How to handle this situation, and number two, how do you maintain your era when you fall down or you got a huge failure in the business, so you can balance, so then everybody can support you.
Yeah.
How do you handle this situation, sir, as an entrepreneur?
Why did you come into the situation? Because you are holding on to what is impermanent as permanent. You lose things, okay? You lose things, you can build it up again. Why do you have to allow yourself to be clinging to the things that are not permanent? That is what the ancient wisdom tell you. People can have three types of things, adhyatmika, adi daivika, and transactional. Three types, right? First, adhyatma is something your body and mind does it. Adi devika, natural things can do to you. And then the third one is from the animals, from the other things that can happen to you too. So these things are expected, they're going to happen. Like Buddha said, what is happening, like an arrow will come to you, life situations, life events, and all that. But how do you react is in your control. What is happening out there, the impulse and all that, they can come, but it's not. If you are holding on to everything about, losing this thing, and that is a big deal for me and all that, then where is your reality? Hanging on to the things that are going away. Whereas if you hang on to the inner self, these things will come and go. You can be in that Sat Chit Anand. That was their Indian ancient wisdom. But now, present India is all clinging to things that are materialistic, outward, lost complete sense of that inner self which the ancients talked about. So now, you can take everything away from me, but I am very fulfilled in my own inner self. I can stay there. So it's a question of, I mean, it's not a wrong thing or anything. I'm just pointing out, if you, Americans also the same thing, right? They go berserk if they have quarter loss. If we were watching this stock market news or anything, they go by quarter by quarter. Chinese go by long term, but these people go by quarter. So they cook data, and then they get into trouble, go to jail, or they suffer really because they have to take some drugs or alcohol just to take all the personal thing. And they come, they are exhausted, they are stressed out, they are burned out. And then you got to show them what is permanent, what is not. You know what our ancient said? What is you, you will get it. What is not you, you will lose it. If you understand that and stay there, the movement of the mind, thinking, feeling, worrying, feeling like I lost anything, that will be there. Even if it is there, that won't work. See, this is what the yogic said. They went into the forest, they went into the mountains, they dealt with elements, and they built up their mind and body pretty strong, and they gave to us. Now I'm using that to be in the America, to be in the society, everything, but I am kind of really above that because of hanging on to what is real fulfillment. Purnam, that is for completely fulfilled fullness is within us. Because we go away from that, we get the vicissitude of the mind, body, and all that. But once you are stable in that self-realized state, then these things don't bother. Manju, you have a question?
Yes.
Yeah.
Good morning, Odean. Good morning, sir. And my question is, what is the one action or the mantra to safeguard our positive energy and aura to carry all these all 30 entrepreneurial
Yeah.
challenges. So whatever you have
Guy,
explained it,
Gayatri
because
Mantra.
aura and energy,
Yeah,
only these two things are the base and the root
no doubt.
for all these 30 challenges.
No doubt. You see, the energy is something that is there. It cannot be completely wiped out. Energy is one whole thing. You have to learn what are the things that are depleting my energy, what are the things that are replenishing my energy. You don't have to do both of them if you maintain the ever renewing energy. For example, Om, Ah, Ma. In my morning routine with the yoga, I make them do this because when you say ah, you have the reverberation of sound in the abdomen. These are not nerves, these are nadis, energy channels. They open up because of you are making the vibratory sound. Actually, Om is not a Hindu thing. Actually, it has got a lot more meaning in that. The wakefulness is the ah, is connected with the abdomen. U is the swapna state, like in the lungs, and then ma is in the throat. Suppose if you sit down and say, I will show you correct way of doing Om and do that, and we have done these experiments with people too. Kids in India that are traveling to the village, 12 miles back and forth, the girls were repeating this Om and they were not exhausted. Whereas the people who did not, they were. See, the Om is you sit down with your spine erect, and then you have to say Auma. But the Au comes as
Yes,
Au, right? And so,
correct.
so what it is when you take a deep breath in, first take a deep breath in, and as you say Au together, 50% abdominal goes in. The last 50%, make sure it goes deep into your spine. That is the correct way
Correct.
of doing Om, and that is very energetic. Manju, for example, I do in the morning routine my yoga, right? Then I get on the treadmill and walk, right? And then I do 12 times of Gayatri mantra. In the Gayatri mantra, there
Yes,
is
sir.
Om there too. And of course, in the morning routine, I do it with my students and friends so that they get the benefit. I do it and I make them do it too. Like a Ah, Ma, cleaning of the nadis. See, that is one thing. 74,000 nadis are there. People did not understand. But then with that, they used to nadi pravina. They used to. This was brought to my attention by Deepak Chopra. He first saw nadi pravina in India and he was blown away. And then we studied that the Britishers were jealous of these people because these nadi pravinas, they were not charging the patients. They were taking them and then with their hands they're manipulating and releasing the blocks of energy that was blocked in the muscles and all that, and they got better, like acupuncture, right? Actually, the prana, nadi pravina, nadi, all that nadi shoda, all this came first. Then the acupuncture grew out of it as acupressure and then acupuncture. And then they manipulated
Correct.
we all know that. Then what
So the
happened? Yeah.
aura is the reflection of
Oh yeah,
energy. Am I
definitely.
right, sir?
Definitely, because you can see the aura of people who have a lot of energy and lot of positive energy. And when you sit with them, you feel, yeah, this is even if they talk, we feel that energy is there. There is no doubt about it. But then
So
aura is,
what is the maximum? What is the maximum aura a human should have to safeguard?
oh, that is
What
pure.
is the
It's not
maximum
a measurement.
aura a human?
It's not a measurement. It's a purity.
Yeah, it's not a measurement,
Yeah.
correct? But at least uh, just to see, for example, to live my life, how
Yeah.
much food I should eat. That
Yeah.
is a measurement. Like only this much I can eat for to live. We
Yeah.
should live to eat or eat to live.
Yeah.
It is
Yeah.
something like that, vice versa.
Yeah.
So how much of
Let
the
me
radiance
let me
aura
answer.
can have?
Let me answer that. It's not how much, but how much you are damaging it. Modern life does that. Okay, you get up in the
Yep.
morning, you let your mind
Mm.
run, and then you are living in your head most of the day, and you are not really enjoying the elements, you are not really relating to the elements, you are not connected with the nature outside or inside, and you are like a neurotic person going around. That's not definitely depletes your energy. Selfishness, negativity, hatred, so many things, right? So many are judgments,
Okay.
any of, and even other thing. Manju and Dr. Rao and Raghava and are all in one energy.
Correct.
We identify ourselves as separate from that, and that itself depletes. What you are indicating, Manju, I know what you're talking about. Aura, it can be
Yes, sir.
purified. It's already there.
Okay.
It can be
Okay.
purified, then it will come through. See, once you are
Okay.
established your inner self, then there's the fragrance, the perfume that comes out from that person. Unselfish, always happy, always joyful. Can be anything, big disease or anything. And that aura, you may not reach that kind of thing with yogis and other things, but I know what you're talking about, Manju. But that is very, very easy to clean it up. I call what is called ever renewing energy. They see me like this is evening, right? I am like this in the
Yes.
morning also. They ask me, what is this? What did you take? Did you take any medication to be energetic like that? Because they have seen me 18 patients from morning till evening, and then even then I tell them I do what's called moment to moment awareness, not
Yes, sir.
thought, not feeling, moment to moment awareness. You know, when this is the answer for you, Manju. You get up
That
in
is the
the
presence of mind, exactly. And
no,
thank you
no,
so
no, no.
much for giving me the clarity of again Om,
Yeah,
because I believe in that one thing. And today I just again reconfirmed where like your from your knowledge that
yeah,
Om is the best chanting.
no doubt.
Thank you so much.
There's so much we can talk about Om. But the other thing I was going
Yes,
to
sir.
tell you is
Yes, I'll
this one
I'll
something.
make it on one to one, sir, with you
No, no,
definitely.
no. Something. This is simple. You will get it right away.
Yes, sir.
You get up in the morning. You can allow your thought go into, oh, what's my schedule? How many patients are there, and all that, and then allow that thought to build up its own network. Okay, that's one way. Other way is
Hmm.
I can keep that thought down and then establish myself in the presence. This book, by the way, talks about presence all the time. Okay, it's important in this information age. It's very important for your energy and all that, right? Then what happens is, you must have heard this, Manju. Chit Jada Grandi. Chit Jada Grandi. Jada is our body. No, no, let me finish it, Manju. Jada.
Yeah, yeah. Many people are unmuting. They wanted to ask the questions.
Oh yeah,
They
no,
need
no,
to
these are
give
important,
some
Arjun.
time for others also.
Arjun, these are important. Okay, you cannot pay attention to that. I can't help it. I want to say this because it's important. Manju is brought a very good point. Chit Jada Grandi Manju. Jada is our inert body. It doesn't say I am. Chit is our inner self. Jiva, the Atma. That doesn't say I am. There is a Grandi. That is the knot in between. See, that is the one which says I am. And that is where the ego, personality, everything comes. And that separates us from everything else. But once you have that grandi is tied up, then you get up in the morning, be in that present moment awareness and continue that. And in that awareness, use the thought, but also end the thought after you used it. Right?
Correct, correct,
Yeah,
sir.
it's a very important thing for anybody who wants to absorb that. This is more than just some people asking because I'm always there. They can always call me. I'm always talking to people. I talk to many number of OBN people. So you have to see who is talking, what is talking, why they are talking. That's important things. This is not mechanical for me. Okay. Anybody else will now come ask me.
I think DK Chen sir is unmuting. You're in a good space to talk, sir. DK Chen.
Happy morning. Thank you, Dr. Rasa. It's an amazing, understanding to bring to the Zenex as well as Genavai community
Yeah.
to have an ancient wisdom.
Yeah.
So Absolutely, there is a lot of validations, lot of understanding, lot of the wisdom is hidden in those ancient theories as well as Vedas, Agamas, Puranas, everything. When we understand, see, being a follower and understanding the Jainism, our Pratham Tirthankara, Rishabh Deva, has a history of almost 100 million years of old practices where the agama has been written or appeared or preached whatever the way we can understand today's lifestyle. But the core practices, they have been taught at that time when Adi Nata was there. At that time, Asi, Masi, Krishi, and Vidya and the Shilpa. So this has been given and Vanijya has been brought up that time. The six, ruling by the people has to be followed. All that. That means how civilized and how understanding those world could be there. And today we have been forgotten many principles of our ancient wisdom, and that is why we are basically suffering whatever we are suffering today. And I think basic small things when we take it up in the our daily life core, I think things can be changed more.
No, absolutely.
Rakesh was telling me.
Absolutely, DK. That is why I'm bringing it. I'm a modern physician. I'm a technical person too. I know how to use them, but then I give the highest value, the ancient wisdom, because they kind of allowed us to really evolve from within, and that is a very grand gift they gave to us, and then neglecting that as though they are nothing. I think that's what I'm trying to help people understand. Looking at my life, what did I do, how did I fare, what I'm doing, how I am enjoying my life, how I am presenting everything, and also with great reverence to the ancient. What it is they have a scientific attitude, but they were inward. Whereas modern scientists, sure, we want to understand the elements outdoor, we want to understand the technology to make our life easier and all that. But then they kind of invented so many inner things that make our life itself is very sustaining and very energetic, very satisfying, fulfilling. That you won't get it just because you are using technology very effectively. That's why we have so much of suffering, wars, violence, all this craving about going after the material things only without understanding the inner riches. So I always identify that inner riches, inner truth, ancients. Outer scientific facts, they could even Einstein talked about this. He talked about the inner riches in a major way. I can talk about it at length also about what he said. So he never fell for that ego. He said, I don't know why they make such a big deal of me. I don't see anything that I have done. I only discovered the things that were created by the Creator. So all the scientists also, when they have done so much work, at the end of it, they knew something other than just the material things are there, and they identified. DK sir, even Jain also, when I was in Rajasthan, I don't know, I always wanted to Jaipur. That was my thing. So 2010, I think, when I came there, we went to, basically we went to Brahma Kumaris. That's why we went there, Mount Abu, but we stayed in Jaipur for a while to enjoy the palaces and all that. But then there were so many beautiful Jain temples. I knew about the Jainism by the time itself. A lot of people asking me questions on that too because they found that they are wearing masks not to breathe any air with the bugs, and they are walking, looking at it. They didn't understand the real inner philosophy of it. So I was lecturing on the ahimsa and the Jains, and also there are deeper things about the Kundalini and other things are there too. Yeah, you are absolutely right. I agree with you, DK.
Sir, whatever we are speaking is only surface.
Yeah.
But when we talk about our Jainism, the deep agamas, where the Adinath Prabhuji, when they have talked about those years, they have given a one, stotras where we call the Pranatipati Vithaya.
व्यवहारस्य काममूर्छेभ्य सुलभ्य पापोभ्यो vipurmata bhavati. That is the stotra they gave. What that means, the householder, that means we, if observing five vows, we will not be in a kind of any kind of dilemmatic situation. Yeah. What does it say? We should not be in a violence, we should not be in a falsehood, and we should not do any kind of theft, hoarding, and reckless consumption. Okay, that is the minimalistic sustainability of the Jainism has been called. So if you see, the world has recognized, scientists has recognized, Jainism is the only religion which is more sustainable in all nature. But the problem and pathetic things are there. Today's Jain has been, you know, tending towards the philosophy of modern science and trying to be a more, a consumer rather than contributor. Yeah. To the nature as well as himself. So when we talk about nature, nature is not a just prakriti. Nature is pravruti also. Yeah. So we have to be, very, very much sustainable to the pravruti, to the prakriti. Yeah. When we are not being in a right form of pravruti, then how you can be a, pre-conscious with the prakriti. Yeah. So that is how the whole philosophy goes. And I absolutely understand when I was just small examples, Rakesh and we were have interacted in the car. He was watching, his watch. He was seeking the messages. There are people who are awaiting, because he has all the way come from Chennai to meet them. I said, however you see message, however they call, we have to reach at the destined time. Everybody is on the journey. We have to be composed in the mindfulness what we are traveling. So what happen, our sensual nerves will be in a present positions. If anything eventually happens also, we will be act right rather than we react. Yeah. So those are the things which we understand. I think we don't need a big philosophy. We need right now in a presence of mind.
No, no.
If you are in a presence of mind,
DK, let me tell you my perspective. You see, uh, even people like Ramana Maharshi, Krishnamurti, all these people, they talk about not accepting as somebody written and that's it, like children. That is not something to do because most of the people do not understand the meaning of it and then they are not able to bring that into their life. Better thing is we investigate, doubt, ask questions, and then let your intellect to go into that and then accept it and do it. Otherwise, just because this religion is written or this religion is superior and all that, nobody gives value to that. But what they give value now is why you're saying this mantra, what is behind it, that is where we are seeking knowledge, all of us, right? And then, but these people are siddhas. They're not only realize that, they applied that in their life. What I find value is not dismissing them like somebody's, um, belief or somebody's thing, but they had what is called meditative awareness. They calmed their superficial mind so much, they were able to go and reach the consciousness, in the sense universal conscious intelligence, that higher intelligence coming as conduit through this silent mind. That's why it's very, very important. The silent mind has to be there. Okay, it's a question of allowing that to happen. What is world is doing, what is modern times are doing. The people who are like Einstein, he didn't have this chattering mind. He didn't have to have that, but he was above that, into that insightfulness, into that awareness that he could be tapping the truths, because he stayed with that ekagra completely by not thinking all this. He said, why should I remember the telephone numbers? Telephone direct is there. That's exactly what we are doing. We are doing all sorts of things about this shastras and all that, but are we living it? Why are we not able to live it is the where you can see, like for example, why people are not well with so much scientific knowledge, so much ancient wisdom. Okay, ancient wisdom, vegetarian was there. Exercise in the form of yoga or tai chi or any martial arts is there, and then you can be very quiet and then use your mind as your instrument. Why are you neurotic? Why are you thinking continuously? Why are you not having this spontaneous joy of being a human being? Why can't you enjoy somebody else as friend? Why do you have to be regimented about it? Okay. So all these things are really implementing people not to be in joy, otherwise they are in. See, you can see all the situations are not there. Suddenly you are joyful, but when you are stuck with these other things, they are there. See, how come the people who are meditating under a tree, drinking water occasionally, but deep breathing all the time, that is the key for their longevity. And then they also understood a lot of inner truth, and then they made that more applicable in our daily routine, like a cow dung mixed water, antiseptic. Then putting early in the morning, getting up and doing the Rangavali or the Muggu or whatever they call it, that is because discipline for the lady getting up, cleaning herself up, and then making everything pretty and nice for the other family. That's how she is nurturing, right? So the Agastya Muni, especially, he has really understood, mastered these things, and then came and say, oh, this has to be applicable to these people. They can't understand the deeper meaning, maybe, but we will push them like these are good things. And those people who want, they can come to satsang and then explore. That was their decision. But then, blind belief is where the mind is stupefied. So I may say so many things. Don't eat sweets for a diabetic. But he has the problem with his taste, and he goes and eats that. See, that's where having the knowledge, having the mind that is investigating, like Manju and me, we talked about something because we are curious about it. We want to understand what is the phenomena of the aura. Aura is nothing but pristine energy that is radiating from you. Why people are, it's not that you have to have it, but why you are not having it. When you are in that, you can see the energy coming from you. So these people who have really established that inner fulfillment, they don't have to have any degrees, they don't have any statuses, roles, and we have all that, but still we have so much problem. We cannot be peaceful, happy just because we are. That is what they said prakriti. That means everything is balanced. Even now we are doing what's called metabolic spontaneity within the body. That's my one of my research interests, is where we can do the metabolic wash, mitochondrial wash, and then replenish the energy. There's the ama that Ayurveda talked about, the like kind of ama is like a wish, like a bad substance that accumulates within us, and that really cuts down your age quite a bit. To get rid of the ama, you got to have the right lifestyles, natural lifestyle. For example, you are eating by time. Oh, 8 o'clock I have to eat. 12 I have to eat. Right? That's totally wrong. You got to allow the my body to go into the full hunger, and then go and satisfy that hunger by eating slowly. And also, ekabhukta, they eat only one time a day. And householders, they said, because you work and all that, you say 2 times. But you know, the secret of the yogis was they were carrying a vessel to take the water, but they were breathing deep all the time. See, that becomes a real big deal. Whether you're walking, whether you're, like I do that practice all the time. That Om, just do, I do the Gayatri mantra so many times. You do Om in that, and you do that knowing what it can do physiologically, knowing what it can do respiratory wise, knowing how it can cut down the thought. All those things are there. Ramana Maharshi teaches in the uh, uh, in his short poems. He says about if you breath and the thought are connected. So if you have a deep breath, thought slows down. So understanding these physiological things, practicing it, and winging it is really understanding the life force. The prana is coming. You see, when you do the breathing, also reverence to the life force, prana, chi, all those names that have come, right? They are coming through us to, and they're coming and then giving us a lot of energy. That reverence, that feeling gives you much more. My pranayama was not in the beginning. I was not that much. I was not doing it. I was doing physical yoga. But then the moment I understood what is the deep breathing and sincerely doing it, no matter how things are, external things did not touch me because I kind of deep breath and then immediately that worrying thought and all that goes. I told you about the I thought, chit jaza granthi. You almost all the modern people wake up with that chit jaza granthi. They are briefly in that present moment. Immediately they travel into the thought and then they read something and they come and quote that. That's not important. Are you doing that? Did you understand the meaning and doing that? Rakesh, you want to say something?
Yes, Dr. Rao, I will share one more case study of yesterday. When it comes to the business entrepreneur meet, and one more challenge is what entrepreneur mindset get fails here. I left my bag, which was completely a demonstration kit and everything, in DK sir office. He reached here,
Yeah.
and I found my bag was missing and it was left over. I told to DK sir, just see it is there or not, and no. Now the question was whether we entrepreneur journey into doing some presentation, we miss it. The thoughts will carry. Oh my God, I have already seen.
I think it cut off.
And
Yeah.
to how I'm going to present my business or my things which I'm going to carry across. Now, two things can happen for this. One, I can take that worry, keep on glitching in my inside, and what happened, what will happen if I'm not able to. So, guys, I've traveled from Chennai to Bangalore and I'm not able to, present myself how it would be. That is one thought. Second thought, if I'm prepared myself and I know the content how it's going to be, I don't have to worry whether the bag reaches on time or not. It doesn't matter. My soul and my things are aligned with me, and I can present myself how I want to deliver it. So this is something when most of the entrepreneurs sometimes
But
go to a
Rakesh,
business.
Rakesh, I want to
Yes.
say, why did you forget to begin with? Go into that. And also, after you forgot what you are thinking about bringing back to yourself to the present, that's good. Okay. I agree with that totally. Don't worry about it because you cannot do anything about it. Be in the present and do that. But why did you forget it? And why did you allow your thought to go to the extraneous when DK has to tell you, just relax, we have to reach where we reach? Why? What I'm saying is, in your own self, you can travel within and see this reaction, review that before sleep, and learn from it next time it won't happen. That's how we become progressively more and more into the present, here and now. See, do you understand what I'm talking about?
Dr. Rasab, I will clarify you here something because we were in the scene of action and acting.
No, it doesn't matter. Anywhere you are decay, we are in the life.
Absolutely. That's what I'm trying to clarify here.
Yeah.
Even though when I'm listening to you, if I'm attached to you, I dissolve in you. If I dissolve in you, I lose myself and I become a Rao.
Don't dissolve me. Dissolve in what I'm saying. Be aware.
One second. Understand me, my perception to understand in a normal way of the people, so they will also understand.
Not normal way of the people, DK, about us in that moment. Don't clarify other people. Just to be with what you are doing. What Rakesh was doing is forgetting.
The situation happens.
Yeah.
That is what the situation happens.
Yeah.
So what I am trying to say, even though if you are in a satsang of the evolved soul, don't lose your being.
Definitely.
You are being.
Exactly.
That's what I am trying to say.
Exactly. No doubt about it. It's not losing, but learning from that experience. That is, quoting everything else, it doesn't matter. But what I'm behaving, like I'm in Rakesh's place, I would see what happened Am I lost in thought? That's why I was forgetting, or am I so focused so I don't have to forget about it? That's what I'm talking about.
Absolutely great. Here
Hmm.
I am trying to say our maturity, what we hold today, our experience will be always one leg ahead.
Yeah,
So with the new experiences, we will evolve with the new maturity.
definitely. That's the thing. You see, the maturity is not in age, but in relearning from our experience. Definitely, yeah. So what I'm saying is, you
See,
can evolve yourself into
the
the
thought
present.
is
Mm,
the thought was very simple. Why I put this question is, see, we being into business and different work culture, right? So the moment we travel from and we are getting lot of hurdles, how
mm,
we are going to resonate with these hurdles and keeping our mindfulness thoughts in our control
exactly.
and work accordingly to the situations.
Exactly. That is what I'm
Because
saying
most of
about,
the
you pay
yeah,
attention to
like
hear what is happening. Yeah, definitely.
see, I just wanted to put across because in layman language, why I put in layman language? Because we have been traveling, most of the people who are the house members are sitting and traveling, doing may across this kind of situations,
Mm,
how a one person challenges can be resolved and what they can take and courage. See, I've been traveling with DK sir,
yeah,
right? When I've been listening for last 20 minutes and 15 minutes, what he was sharing it gave me a lot of different insights, how I've been traveling and how can I, if I sit in a seat, how it, the moment I can feel it. So he made me that feeling the moment if you're sitting in my driving seat and you're driving a car with calmness and just seeing and enjoying the driving rather than seeing the public, the crowd and the traffic.
yeah, I got it.
So what is it is that we have traveled in such a way that even I was sitting along with him in the room also, I was so comfortable.
Yeah.
Again, when Manjuni talk about the aura energies, it
Rakesh, I want
matters
to
with whom
point
you
out
are
something
talking.
here. Very, I know, I understand, DK, I understand you, what you're talking about. You're trying to teach some lesson to somebody, that's fine too. But what I'm saying is self knowledge. Like DK was also saying, pay attention to your being. That's correct. What I'm saying is, from your own insight into your own responses, reactions, whatever, you learn. You may need people like DK or somebody to point out, that's fine. But the much more important thing is, am I learning from my own self behavior? That is the self knowledge. Actually, I have a big course on that because people have to not to rely on the religious studies, not to rely on the philosophies, not to rely on somebody's speeches and all that, but am I really studying myself? Am I with myself? What's going on within me? Am I quoting something, or how am I behaving? How am I thinking? How am I reacting? That is what I'm pointing out. Once you have that, there is nobody to teach you. You will learn from your own life. That's what I'm pointing out. You see, it's not like everybody is like that. Don't classify anybody. How I am, how I can do. That's how you turn everything inward, and then from your own life experiences, you get the wisdom. What's going on here? And then otherwise, we have Vedas, we have Upanishads, we have Bhagavad Gita, we have so much. Why is that so much disorder going on? Why is there so much hatred and killings and lots of atrocities against women, all those going on? Where is India? Is it saying, oh, we have all this, but then in your behavior, where you are? The same thing here. So much disorder. Oh, we are the epitome of, we are exceptional people, but then they don't even have a control over their own minds and own bodies and everything. Slaves to the slaves. Our mind is our slave. The senses are our mind's slave. But then they are slave to the senses. So what it is, I'm friendly suggesting. I'm not saying that you should be doing it. What I'm saying is aware of what's going on within us. Learn all the knowledge you find, but just keep quiet that mind that goes on all over, and then you will learn a lot from your own prakriti, your own nature, your own behavior, and all that. Not that you have to blame yourself, but what I'm saying is, if you are aware of yourself, then you will be aware of the time that you forgot that thing next time. That is the, it's not about years of maturity. What Dk was intending is, the more you learn, the more you're paying attention to it, the more you will be there. Some people may take it into the old age, some people may take it into the young age. So it all depends on the Purajan, Shukrata, and all that too. That is there too. But what I'm saying is, here and now, like Manju asked me a question, and I'm doing the Om, I actually felt a burst of energy just by doing one Om, because I've been doing this for years. So in the people who come with stage fright, right? They can't speak in front of the crowd. They come and I teach them what's called Korsakoff breathing. That's Americans adopted from the Om, and then they don't want to use Om because they think it's Hinduism. It's not really Hinduism. It is ancient. At the time when they invented all these things, Hinduism was not there, Jainism was not there. But later on, people developed them. That's fine. They can practice all the wisdom through their things. That's fine too. But then, if you really want to understand what is ancient India, go back, read the originals, apply them to you in your life. What has happened? Why is a person like me who is an informatician, I am free of the information? Because of the understanding the nature of the thought, nature of the mind. This Chit Dada Grandhi. See how, what is the observation? The moment you get up, you allow the thought to escape from you, and then you are cut. That's the reality, really. But the atmosphere around makes this much more. So it's not about listening to people, it's about listening to ourselves. That's what DK was saying, inner being, inner ourself. And then if you cannot propaganda this, you have to allow people to go inward by themselves and find it out. That's the thing about the inner sciences, are you got to validate by yourself. And maybe somebody says a very profound thing, but just listening and going doesn't do anything. In satsangs of what I do, I adopted what the ancients did was, everybody is coming there is a seeker of truth. Nobody is a teacher, nobody is a student. The only thing is, they don't want to assert egos. Park the ego at the door and then come. See, so somebody, like, if I point out, I know some people got hurt here when I pointed out that your ego is talking. They took it personally because they are egoic. If they are not egoic, they won't. Even the marriages are breaking down because of the ego. They don't understand that. How much suffering is there because of that? So, Atma Mokshardam. Atma Moksha. Where is the moksha coming? By liberating the mind, you get the Atma Moksha. That means you are established in that Atman, in that and its inner essence, inner nature of ours. Then mind can be a very wonderful asset. Like the AI is a wonderful asset. But you're not AI. Like the thoughts, viewing them as objects, because if you get up in the morning, you have like a big sky like awareness. In that awareness, these thoughts, use them for business, use them for outward things, but don't use them for inward things. That is where the mistake happens. They don't know how to stop it. And it's working real continue. Or you see, even if I repeat something without understanding, that won't have any inner effect for me. Some people have become like that. But if you want to be clear, if you want to be completely silent, if you want to be in that serene stillness of mind and taste that, once you taste that, you will come back to the altar. You can be silent all the time, even when you're talking, also, you can feel the silence. First time I really experienced the silence when I heard Krishnamurti's talk in Chicago. There was this Michigan lake, big lake, and they did a small path into a small island. They called it Oasis. And there, these talks, philosophical things happen. They took me for this some talk by Krishnamurti, video recorded, right? VHS tapes used to be there, and they were playing that. So one of my friends took me there. I was very much stressed by my job in the hospital because I was promoted to something that's too big for me. But I was I was stupid enough to accept it. I wanted to do, but I learned a lot, and I learned a lot. But there's still I went through a lot of physical. I was only 25, 27, I think. There. And then in that state, they took me there. And he was talking about a topic. I don't know what it was. I don't even remember that. But suddenly, all the thoughts dropped, and then I became very silent. Then I thought, what is this? What happened? And he was not even near here. He was not even looking at me. He was saying something, and then everything dropped. See, that thought mechanism became so silent. It kind of that continuity of thought after thought after thought that broke. And then from ever since that, I went deep into Krishnamurti's and then biographies, talks, and everything. They were one particular thing I should mention here. Alan Anderson is a professor in San Diego, religious and all that. He and Krishnamurti had 18 hours of talks, but each 1 hour is looks very heavy in the beginning. But then the more I got into it, the more I wanted to know. So I did that 18 hours several times. And then, of course, his books and all that. I went to his place, but he was dead by the time we went there. But he talked about how modern man is really becoming this neurotic, this really lost completely the things that they created themselves. I value him very much because he doesn't talk about gurus, he doesn't talk about any of these written things and all. He talks about perception, right here and now. What you see in front of you, how do you react to? So he has, there's a book called Exploration into Insight, not repeating that religion. There's no, none of it does it. He kind of takes what the question is. He takes questions from the youngsters and just goes into that. Then I went to his school. There's a book I think every parent should read this, Education and Significance of Life, written by Krishnamurti. You know, so his schools are there all over and they're very much valued. But he also said you don't have to put a school, gather a couple of parents and understand what are we educating the kids for. Is it just to make a living or is to live completely? Very profound. Those 18 hours of talk, they talk about everything, all religions come and all that. But then fear, death, 1 hour, 1.5 hour, like the meditation last two. Manju, I recommend that to you. You should see them. Those 2 hours of meditation would be, I think, puts everything in perspective. Wonderful.
Sure, sir.
Yeah, sure. And then talk to me after that. We'll have a bath.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay.
Actually, the aura and the frequency of energy which is there in the human body, that plays a major role. If we understand the base and the root, that is the total root cause of our living. Let it be in any part of the journey of our life.
Sure.
Let it be like from birth to death, if I can say. The whole criteria is frequency, energy, and aura. These three, if it is balanced very well,
yeah,
all the 30 entrepreneurial challenges can be taken care of.
Definitely.
That's my perspective.
Definitely, because it's only one energy, and that is also we kind of deplete it. Other day, one of my friends, very busy day, very tired, and came. Those people also, I took it and then made them understand why they are losing energy, and the next day they were up with energy. So definitely, yeah. I think, is it enough for you? I think it's already 10:30 here. So this book is about the current problems entrepreneurs are having. This is not a religious book, or this is not a preachy book. It's about something that they could tap into and then start something and then go towards that stage where they have taken proactive wellness measure about the stresses they are going through in the modern life, like I am going through. So it's like kind of a relating to my experiences of dealing with stress and burnout. Actually, I talked to you about I lead a stress-free life. It doesn't mean I don't have challenges outside. They are, but how I react to them changed. You can also go into that, expand that. Don't believe them, but really experiment them, understand them, where they come from. I provide as much relevance as possible, and then you will be seeing that. And then I'll be discussing this every day morning at 7 o'clock my time, 7 a.m. And I'll go take all the feedback. And there's a lot more activities planned around this book because entrepreneur energy is not right there. A lot of people here pursuing the success also because they are not able to succeed. They are taking some crutches like alcohol, cigarette, and all that. That's also not good. So as a human being, you can be, fulfilling yourself, whatever you want to do, but at the same time, you can be resting in that inner conscious energy completely. Just because you know a little bit, you have a role doesn't mean that you know and that you command other people. No, it's kind of about ourselves. If you can do that, that will be wonderful. Raghav, shall I stop
So,
it now?
Dr. Now we have Sandhya and Satish, so we'll just finish with them and then we'll close the room.
Okay.
So, Satish, you want to have a conversation with Dr. Rao, and after you, we'll go with Sandhya.
Yeah, good morning, Ravji and others, OBN family. Have a nice morning to all of you. Today, a very important day because the Vaishakha month starts today. Actually, Chaitra Masa, this Shakavarsha, Vaishakha, month of Vaishakha started 8 days before, but the Vaishakha month celebration, it starts today onwards. And it's very important that this type of preachings that is related to our Vedas as well as this karma, dharma, and related to Ramana Maharshi and all these things, very much important. And I am very happy to here with you. And dharma, as what we say, dharma samsthapanarthayam sambhavami yuge yuge. Yes, it's very nice teaching. At present, I am a little busy. Anyway, I want to mention only one thing. That's my sister's father-in-law was here in Calicut. We have this one famous this astronomy science museum, planetarium. Yes, one planetarium here in Calicut, and he visited that planetarium, and he told to the administrator that somebody's I think Copernicus photo or something was there. He mentioned me about 15 years back, and he told him, see, what we want to put here is not Copernicus, but Veda Vyasa. And that fellow, nice person, I think he's from Chennai, somewhere else. And he told him, Krishna, you do one thing. You collect all the data with you and meet me on the next month or something like 2 months later. And he told me like that. And within a few days, he passed away. He's a nice person, was a teacher, and moreover, we have a doctor. He's a MD, something like that, took from London somewhere else, and he took graduation in Ayurveda, as well as later on, when he is at the age of 60 or 65, he started this preaching at temples and this group. He preached about this Vedanta or something like that. And whenever he want to have a talk, in the previous day, he contact with this person and call him to be there in somewhere hotel or his house, and he tells whatever he could say, or no, not that. Whatever he had to put in his mind, or he will give the brief of what the other person, doctor, have to present the next day. Now, such a nice person, very small person. He got so many awards and those things. Simple person. Anyway, one more thing. He stayed with Ramana Maharshi's ashram there in Chennai somewhere. I haven't visited there for around 15 days. He told me many things like that. And I'm very
Satish,
happy
you have a
to
question?
hear from you.
Do you have a question?
Nothing. Thank you. Thank you. Your session, this session, very nice for this day. Okay,
Yeah.
thank you. Thank you. It's
Yeah.
too late. Okay, thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, some people, Dr. Rao, they feel very happy to have a conversation with you. So we have to give them a chance. So Satish is
No,
a sweet
that's
guy.
okay.
Literally, he
That's
comes and he
okay.
has a conversation. Yeah.
What it
And
is
with Sanjana, yeah.
Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam is what we go by. So even though I have affection for India, and I don't identify myself as Indian American anymore, I'm a world citizen. Problem with India is they are repeating that person said this, religion said this and all that. What I am really firmly asking is find out by yourself, study them, question them, understand them. See, this good to hear is not that. In real life, are you applying the truths that you learn? Sandhya, you have anything to ask us?
Yes, I have something to relate for what Dr. Rao was speaking
Yeah,
about to be now. So I just want to share my experience in my life.
yeah.
Happened a long ago. It so happened my husband he was associated with some of the clubs like that.
Mm.
And then in that place, uh, there was some, because he was very young, and then at that time he was very, very, charming person, and people used to come to him for help, and he used to really help them. And then it so happened, people used to be jealous of him also too. Once it happened, went up to that extent. They came in the way of his job itself.
Mm.
At that moment, he was so angry. He said, "I would kill that person who came in the way of me,"
Yeah.
because livelihood was so much important for us.
Mm.
And then after some time, he was supposed to meet a doctor, the physician,
Mm.
in a club in Bangalore. And then he came late at it. He said, "Yeah, Apollo, such and such a person is not well. He had a heart attack. He has been vomiting. So that's why I was late. Sorry," he said. Next day morning, my husband he wakes me at 4 o'clock. His family and he said, "Can you make some coffee, Sandhya? I would like to take this coffee to him. He's been vomiting and his family is not there." I just quietly made the coffee and gave it to him. He took it and then he came back and said he was so happy he had the coffee, and that's what he came and said. I just kept quiet. Uh, After that, his family came. After 2 3 days, that gentleman passed. Then I told him, "Manju, yes, I gave you the coffee you gave him. If anything had happened at that moment, that if he had died, people would have taken that you have killed him. Because he had openly told that you would kill him. But I didn't do it because his nature is like that to help people like that. So, and forget at that, whatever happens, he used to forget that before that moment. So, to living for that, that is how I have learned from that. And our life has been smooth with all the challenges in life because we don't take the things so much seriously into this one. That is, we forget and forgive at that moment. That is the thing which keeps you going happily in life with all the problems in life. That's what I felt.
Yes,
Thank you
and
so much for giving me the
yes, and yeah, that's a very good point because if you take death, that's very much big deal in Ramana Maharshi's first experience too. He, for no reason, he was a very healthy young lad, 16 years or so. He suddenly felt like he was dying. And then what happens when I die? And he pretends lying down, and then rigor mortis, like a stiff in the body and all that. And after that he feels like what is left after that. So from then onwards, death is real. That sensation is there, but what dies is really clear to him. the body mind dies, but then our inner nature doesn't die. So he used to say the people are crying because he's going to die with a sarcoma and all that. And he said, I think one of the Guruvayur, I think he's a famous poet who was with Ramana Maharshi. He was crying like anything. Then he said, I told you so many times, it's not me who is saying, where I'm going to, I'm not going to, I'm going to hear. And then the spirit lies. But you know why you are crying? Because you think you are the body and you identify with that. That's why. So other way, the spirituality about abhinivesha, fear of death, this is one of the kleshas, right? Abhinivesha teaches you that death is inevitable and anybody can die at any time, like Sanjay was telling about that incidental thing. But then that makes us realize how valuable our life right now is. For me, by my relation with my mother or my sister now, I make sure that I spend time when they are alive. I did that with my mom, and I kind of adjust my career and stayed with her when she was here, and then made her see Ramayana Mahabharata with her so that she will understand all the intricacies. And then I did not feel like I was wasting my time or anything like that, you know. And the same thing I do with my sister now. I call her often, sometimes every day. She is 83 now, but she is having understanding of all these things at this age. She is able to understand whatever she can understand. And then, but one thing she has got is sukoon, shanti, you know, understanding what is life, what is death, what is going on. So the moment we are aware that we can die at any time, we will do better living daily. Krishnamurti, somebody asked him, sir, how to do daily life? And he said, suppose you are going to die tomorrow and you know that. What would you do? Would you not take care of your obligations and you will not tell somebody that you hurt, I'm sorry, all those things? Yeah. Then you have to live every day like that, as though you're going to be not there tomorrow. Thank you, Raghu. I'll finish that there. Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much, Dr. Rao, and thank you everybody for coming to the speaker panel and having a conversation with Dr. Rao. I hope everybody enjoyed. And the time is 9:09, so we have to close the room. So let us catch up tomorrow morning. So at 6:30 a.m. Generally, we don't close the room at this time, so we'll be closing very soon. So sometime it happens. So I hope it's for you guys. Like we've been sitting. Even I have a meeting to conduct. So I need to go for my client's meeting by 9:30. So yeah, it was a great day, Dr. Rao. Thank you so much for your blessings to all, and it was wonderful conversation what we had. And we'll catch up again for tomorrow's session at 6:30 a.m. With this note, we'll be closing the room in a reverse count of 5, 5, 4, 3, 2.